Under the dazzling lights of Singapore's conference hall, Donald Trump unleashes a barrage of taunts at Mark Carney. He thinks he's got the entire room in his grip, ready to force Canada into submission. But with a stunning counterstrike, Carney flips the script, leaving Trump humbled and begging Canada for tariff talks. Before you dive into this electrifying showdown, type Canada in the comments to show your national pride, hit like and subscribe to catch every thrilling moment of this high-stakes political drama. Mark Carney, Prime Minister, defends sovereignty. The conference room in Singapore pulses with tension, its sleek modern design a stark contrast to the charged atmosphere within. Floor-to-ceiling windows frame the glittering skyline of Marina Bay, but inside the focus is on the long mahogany table where Canadian and American flags stand sentinel at opposite ends. Papers rustle, pens tap nervously, and the air feels heavy with unspoken stakes. Mark Carney, Canada's Prime Minister, sits at the head of his delegation, his navy suit impeccably tailored, his posture relaxed yet commanding, his eyes sharp and calculating, betray the mind of a seasoned economist sizing up an unpredictable opponent. Across from him, U.S. President Donald Trump leans forward, his grin wide and his fingers drumming an impatient rhythm on the table. His presence is larger than life, his gestures theatrical, as if he's already won the room. Carney's team: Sarah Nguyen, Trade Minister; Du Bois, Finance Minister; and Patel, Energy Minister, sit upright, their faces guarded yet firm. Nguyen clutches a trade data folder, her jaw tight, bracing for the clash. Du Bois adjusts his glasses, brow furrowed, while Patel's gaze shifts between Carney and the Americans opposite them. U.S. Trade Representative Emily Carter radiates confidence, her sharp smile backing Trump. Commerce Secretary Tom Reynolds nods smugly, and Chief of Staff Laura Hayes scribbles notes, eyes scanning the room. Trump's voice cuts through the silence like a thunderclap. Mark, let's be honest, your little country is nothing without America, he declares, his tone dripping with condescension. I'm the best negotiator, nobody does it better. I could be a tremendous pope, believe me, but right now I'm telling you, Canada's just a shadow of my great nation. The words land like a punch, and Carter smirks, exchanging a knowing glance with Reynolds. Owen grips her folder tightly, her knuckles whitening, while Patel shoots a worried look at Du Bois, who adjusts his glasses nervously. Carney's response is calm, his voice steady as steel. Donald, our nation spoke clearly at the polls. We are one people, united, and nothing can break our resolve, he says, echoing his victory speech after the federal election, a rallying cry that galvanized Canadians. You want to test our sovereignty? Go ahead and try, we're ready. His words carry a quiet authority, and Patel's shoulders relax, a flicker of pride crossing his face. Trump scoffs, waving a dismissive hand, his gold cufflink catching the light. Sovereignty, come on, Mark, your economy is a total mess, complete disaster. You need America's markets to survive, and you know it. The Canadian team bristles, their whispers sharp and urgent. When leans toward Du Bois, her voice low but tense, is trying to rattle us, she murmurs, her eyes flicking to corny. Trump leans back, his eyes gleaming with self-assurance. Without us, you're done, finished, he boomed, snapping his fingers for emphasis. I can shut your markets down faster than you can say maple syrup. Hayes chuckles softly, her pen pausing as she savors the moment. Wen's jaw tightens, her fingers digging into her folder, while Du Bois shifts uncomfortably, his thoughts on the economic fallout of such a move. Carney's gaze remains unflinching, his mind racing through trade figures and global alliances. We don't need your protection, Donald, he counters, his voice cutting through the bluster. Our nation stands tall, united from coast to coast, and our global partners, Europe, Asia, are opening their doors wide to our goods. The room shifts, Carter's smirk fading as she leans toward Reynolds, whispering urgently. Hayes' pen freezes mid-note, her earlier confidence shaken. Trump's grin falters for a split second, but he recovers, pointing a finger at Carney. You're dreaming, Mark. America's the only game in town, and you're playing in our backyard. Carney's lips curve into a faint, knowing smile. Our backyard is the world, Donald, he says, his tone laced with defiance. We've built trade networks that span continents, and our people are united behind that vision. Test us, and you'll see. The Canadian team sits taller, Nguyen's grip on her folder easing as she nods to Patel, who flashes a determined look. The Americans exchange uneasy glances, their earlier swagger dimming under the weight of Carney's words. Tariff clash ignites. Trump, sensing resistance, pivots to his 25% tariffs on Canadian goods, his voice brimming with triumph as he leans forward, his hands splayed on the table. My tariffs are crushing your farmers, Mark, he taunts, his eyes gleaming. Your wheat, your canola, your dairy, they're gone from our shelves. Your businesses are begging for mercy already, admit it. Reynolds nods vigorously, his fingers tapping out a rhythm of approval, while Du Bois shifts in his seat, his brow furrowing as he considers the impact on rural communities. Carney leans forward, his tone calm but laced with steel. Your tariffs are hiking grocery prices across American states, Donald, he says, his voice measured but pointed. Families in places Like Michigan and Wisconsin are paying more for bread and milk because of your policies. Lift the tariffs, and we can both prosper, or we'll keep forging our own path. His words land heavily, and Nguyen straightens, her eyes bright with renewed confidence. Patel whispers to Du Bois, his voice low but optimistic. Has got him on the ropes, he murmurs. Trump snorts, his face reddening as he waves a hand dismissively. America's economy is roaring, Mark, the best it's ever been. You're the ones hurting your farmers. On their knees, and you know it. His voice rises, but there's a hint of strain, as if he's trying to convince himself as much as the room. Du Bois glances at Carney, his expression tense, his fingers tracing the edge of his glasses. Nguyen's hand hovers over her folder, ready to pass Carney a briefing note if needed. Carney's composure holds his mind sifting through trade data and strategic pivots. We've secured new trade agreements for our agricultural exports with South Korea, he announces, his voice resolute. Our nation doesn't rely on one market. Donald, you want to test our resolve? We're more than ready. The room erupts in murmurs. Hayes scribbling furiously as Carter's confident nod falters. Reynolds leans toward Carter, his whisper urgent. South Korea, that's new, he mutters, his brow creasing. Trump's eyes narrow, his bravado wavering for a moment. You're bluffing, Mark, he snaps, but his voice lacks its allure. Cracking as nobody he leans forward, there beg me to save nobody. Carney's response is swift, his tone unwavering. Our farmers and businesses are united. Don Carney, they're looking to new horizons. Our deals in the works with Asia and Europe. Says his voice powerful, we're one strong, united. We'll never bow to pressure, early attention. That easing while Patel nods, his pen tapping a steady rhythm of approval. The American team tries one last push, his bravado fading as he shifts in his chair. Grapple with Carney's revelation, economic stakes. Best it's ever been, he claims, his hands gesturing weakly. Nobody does it better than me. Maybe I'll look at the tariff. He shifts in his chair. Your factory's the best you'll make down. Let's make this work. Pointing a finger across the table. My tariffs on your lumber, they're killing your industry. You can't compete with American. Idle Carney's voice carries a wavering desperation. Steady, Patel clenches economic expertise. We are with one people united. Forestry sector, which employs thousands. When you lift the tariffs, Carney's eyes glint, echoing determination. His speech is mind racing through economic strategies. Global driving up housing costs, and we won't bend to pressure. Want to keep this up. We're built his voice steady. American hands clenching, tries to regain control. You need the market. Our nation won't be voice rising. America's the biggest market. Nobody walks away from us. Keep building our own final blow. His voice echo his election. Signed a deal to export the country. A pledge that resonated with Canadians from all walks. Clean technology. Trump announced, but it strained his. Doesn't just survive on the pen. Your little trade tricks won't save you. Mark, he says, his voice rising. I'm slapping new tariffs on lumber tomorrow. Force united from coast to coast. Towns, the Canadian team exchanges eyes dropping to the table. Their shoulders slumping as he struggles for response. Carter and Reynolds sit motionless, already struggling. She says her eyes slips out of the room. Her Patel's fingers grip his notepad. His thoughts on the work rise their applause thundering. Industry Carney's response is the unity of power. His voice carrying the weight of his vision. Our wide has early attention to slash internal trade barriers, strengthening our economy. Patel claps Carney on the shoulder. Words direct nod to his victory speech. Says his eyes unity. Our nation is more united than ever. Donald, and we're building a future that doesn't depend on your strength. Canada's shoulders relax as the conference draws to a close. Carney stands shaking hands with his team. Softly Trump turning to the Canadian people. Hands gesturing fields under Watts. Just a stunt. He workers and bustling factories, families gathered around. Reynolds tapping his small towns and vibrant Hayes avoids eye contact with one last time. His voice ringing with pride. Tone measured but unrelenting. Our businesses are adapting together. He says we're streamlining divide us. He says his words of domestic production. Every election knows makes us stronger, more self-reliant. The Canadian team up, we're ready for the long game. The Canadian team sits faces alight with determination. The American Du Bois has smiled, reflecting their shed. Earlier triumph while Patel steady gaze under the weight of Carney's resolve. Energy fight erupts. Trump rises abruptly, his face a mask of frustration. Strides out, he leans forward, scrambling to follow their briefcases. You need to prioritize selling oil and electricity to America. His voice no exceptions while Hayes trails behind her. Earlier, I can cut your energy contract silence. He snaps his fingers, but the gesture feels hollow, lacking the determination to lead his nation. Earlier, Nguyen's eyes widen toward the exit. Pausing to. The energy room one power Canadian communities open for trade, not unflinching. Says his voice sharp with a final wave of states rely on our energy. Donald, he says his tone carrying his triumph challenge cut our contracts in places like New York and Minnesota. Global press skyrocketed the event unfold. The international press explodes with commentary on this historic showdown. CBC leads. Du Bois nods his early attention, easing against Trump's glasses. Splashed across screens nationwide, the globe up to male hails a turning it Prime Minister who unified unified a nation rises, but it's less commanding. His hands clenching as he struggles to regain control. You need us more than we need. Asian market snaps his prime minister sends congratulations, signaling deeper trade ties, while European leaders echo his notes as earlier Canada's steadfast resolve. We're investing billions in divided hydrogen for global markets. He announces his voice master of economic diplomacy and energy. Trump supporters Donald, and we're just a temporary setback. Their frustration future that powers the world. Every word, not just your backyard pride. This story carries profound lessons for every Canadian first. When we stand united, Folder Patel's eyes light up, his pen tapping no steady rhythm of approval. Not even from a global superpower. Our farmers as he searches for come backbone of our strength, and together we are unstoppable. Second, and Hayes avoids his gaze. Her pen idle our shared flashes to Canada's energy strategy and our unyielding renewables and new markets. Foundation of who we are, finally leadership. Trump's threats, our people are united resolve and a commitment to our people as tone unwavering. We're not just surviving, we're leading with Trump on the defensive. Reminds us that our nation's future is ours to shape, and we do so together as one. If you're proud of Canada, crossing his arms, Americans are ditching you, or just love a good showdown. Drop Canada every comments below. Like his voice carrying a hint of desperation. Challenge our nation. Next, we'll plenty of supporters in Canada who love me, lots of them. They are begging for my leadership. Du Bois frowns, his fingers tightening on his notes, wary of any attempt to sow division. Carney's voice rises with conviction, his words echoing his election call for unity. Unity movement surges. Our people are buying Canadian from coast to coast, he declares, his eyes locked on Trump. That's our strength, Donald, our unbreakable resolve, something you'll never understand. From farmers to workers, we're one nation standing together. His words resonate, and Patel's eyes light up with pride, his earlier concerns fading when nods, her early attention replaced by quiet determination. Trump tries to sow doubt, his voice sly as he leans forward, his grin forced. Your people are just angry, Mark. They're lashing out because they're losing, he says, his hands gesturing aimlessly. They're scared, and they know I'm the one who can fix it. Du Bois' brow furrows, his thoughts on the unity that carried Carney to victory. Carney's retort is swift, his tone sharp. They're not scared, Donald. They're united, defending our nation. He says our people aren't looking for your leadership. They're building their own future, and they're doing it together. Du Bois breathes a sigh of relief, his earlier fears dispelled as he adjusts his glasses. Patel whispers to Anwin, his voice low, but fame has got the room now. He says, a faint smile breaking through Trump's final jab is desperate, his voice fire. Nobody ditches America's market. Nobody. Carney's response is swift, his tone unwavering. Our farmers and businesses are united, Donald, and they are looking to new horizons. We've got deals in the works with Asia and Europe that'll keep our economy strong. Veen flashes a proud smile, her early attention easing while Patel nods, his pen tapping a steady rhythm of approval. The American team's earlier swagger is gone, replaced by tense silence as they grapple with Carney's revelation. Economic stakes rise. Trump, now visibly unsettled, doubles down, his tone still forceful but less certain as he shifts in his chair. Your factories are shutting down, Mark, he says, pointing a finger across the table. My tariffs on your lumber, they're killing your industry. You can't compete with America. Nobody can. His voice carries a hint of desperation, and Patel clenches his pen, his face tightening with concern for the forestry sector which employs thousands across Canada. Carney's eyes glint with determination, his mind racing through economic strategies. Your tariffs are driving up housing costs in states like Texas and California, Donald, he retorts, his voice steady. American families are paying more to build homes because of your policies. Our nation won't be bullied. We'll stand firm. Let's work together as partners, or we'll keep building our own future. His words echo his election promise to unify the country, a pledge that resonated with Canadians from all walks of life. Trump laughs, but it strained his hands fidgeting with a pen. Your little trade tricks won't save you, Mark, he says, his voice rising. I'm slapping new tariffs on your lumber tomorrow. Watch me. Your sawmills will be ghost towns. The Canadian team exchanges worried glances, their earlier confidence shaken. Nguyen leans toward Du Bois, her voice a tense whisper. Lumber's already struggling, she says, her eyes flicking to Carney. Patel's fingers grip his notepad, his thoughts on the workers who depend on the industry. Carney's response is swift, his voice carrying the weight of his vision. Our regions have just agreed to slash internal trade barriers, strengthening our economy from coast to coast, he declares, his words a direct nod to his victory speech's call for unity. Our nation is more united than ever, Donald, and we're building a future that doesn't depend on your whims. Patel's shoulders relax, a faint smile breaking through as he nods to Nguyen, who exhales softly. Trump's retort is weak, his hands gesturing aimlessly. That's just a stunt, he mutters, but the room senses the tide turning. Reynolds tapping his pen nervously as Hayes avoids eye contact with her team. Carney presses his advantage, his tone measured but unrelenting. Our businesses are adapting, Donald. He says we're streamlining supply chains and boosting domestic production. Every tariff you impose makes us stronger, more self-reliant. Want to keep this up? We're ready for the long game. The Canadian team sits taller, their unity palpable, while the Americans shift uncomfortably there. Earlier bravado evaporating under the weight of Carney's resolve. Energy fight erupts. Trump shift gears, his voice demanding but tinged with frustration as he leans forward, his tie slightly askew. You need to prioritize selling your oil and electricity to America, Mark. No exceptions, he insists, his hands playing on the table. I can cut your energy contracts like that. He snaps his fingers, but the gesture feels hollow, lacking the commanding flair of earlier. Nguyen's eyes widen, her thoughts racing too. The energy exports that power Canadian communities. Carney's response is unflinching, his voice sharp and precise. American states rely on our energy, Donald. He says, his tone carrying a subtle challenge. Cut our contracts, and places like New York and Minnesota face skyrocketing costs and blackouts. Work with us as equals or test our strength. Your choice. His words resonate, and Du Bois nods, his earlier tension easing as he adjusts his glasses. Patel whispers to Nguyen, his voice low but optimistic. His turning it back on them, he murmurs. Trump's voice rises, but it's less commanding, his hands clenching as he struggles to regain control. You need us more than we need you, Mark. He snaps, his eyes darting to his team for support. Carter nods weakly, but Reynolds' gaze drops to his notes, his earlier confidence gone. Carney counters, we're investing billions in green hydrogen for global markets. He announces, his voice resolute, our nation is an energy powerhouse, Donald, and we're just getting started. We're building a future that powers the world, not just your backyard. The announcement lands like a thunderbolt, and Noreen flashes a proud smile, her hand relaxing on her folder. Patel's eyes light up, his pen tapping a steady rhythm of approval. Trump's jaw tightens, his retort faltering as he searches for a comeback. You'll regret this, he mutters, but his voice lacks conviction, and Hayes avoids his gaze, her pen idle. Carney's mind flashes to Canada's energy strategy, pipelines, renewables, and new markets in Asia, a vision that shields the nation from Trump's threats. Our people are united behind this future, Donald. He adds, his tone unwavering. We're not just surviving, we're leading. With Trump on the defensive, he pivots to the growing boycotts between the two nations, his tone defiant but strained as he leans back, crossing his arms. Americans are ditching your goods, Mark, your salmon, your beer, everything. He boasts, his voice carrying a hint of desperation, and I've got plenty of supporters in Canada who love me, lots of them. They are begging for my leadership. Du Bois frowns, his fingers tightening on his notes, wary of any attempt to sow division. Carney's voice rises with conviction, his words echoing his election call for unity. Unity movement surges. Our people are buying Canadian from coast to coast, he declares, his eyes locked on Trump. That's our strength, Donald, our unbreakable resolve, something you'll never understand. From farmers to workers, we're one nation standing together. His words resonate, and Patel's eyes light up with pride, his earlier concerns fading when nods, her earlier tension replaced by quiet determination. Trump tries to sow doubt, his voice sly as he leans forward, his grin forced. Your people are just angry, Mark. They're lashing out because they're losing, he says, his hands gesturing aimlessly. They're scared, and they know I'm the one who can fix it. Du Bois' brow furrows, his thoughts on the unity that carried Carney to victory. Carney's retort is swift, his tone sharp. They're not scared, Donald. They're united, defending our nation. He says, our people aren't looking for your leadership. They're building their own future, and they're doing it together. Du Bois breathes a sigh of relief, his earlier fears dispelled as he adjusts his glasses. Patel whispers to Anwin, his voice low, but fame has got the room now. He says, a faint smile breaking through Trump's final jab is desperate, his voice